And today I have a very special guest. We met online quite a while ago now. We were both on a workshop and we connected. It's amazing how like minds come together.
That's
Yes, I really resonate with Radavie's story that she told me about her own personal journey and awakening. And she has been helping people for over 30 years now to transform themselves and align with their spiritual and emotional well-being in order to be more complete human beings. And I think you'll find her experiences very enlightening and very interesting. And you will be able to connect with her. I'm going to post her website, radavie.net, underneath the YouTube video. So you can go there and connect with her. And she does a free 20-minute consultation if any of you are interested in pursuing further in-depth conversation with Radavie. So right now, I'd like to take it away with Radavie and hear a little bit about her story again, because it was so fascinating the way your journey has brought you to where you are today. So would you like to share some of that with us?
Yeah, it's so nice to be here with you, Rebecca. And so, yes, people are going through a lot of chaos now and a lot of disturbances. And I also went through that before I worked through my issues and before I unveil all my stuff. So as a little girl, in a nutshell, as a little girl, I was very withdrawn and felt that I didn't belong in my family based on how my mother's relationship was with me. So what I did, I stored everything away, locked it in a closet, and walked away. So I walked away from I felt that I didn't belong to that little girl anymore because I'm growing up. But the whole thing is, I I had all the memories up here and walking away, but I couldn't forget it. I couldn't forget it. And I thought I would have to live with it forever. So, I started out creating a successful business because I was a natural thing for me. I was in business. And so my basic background, spiritual connection to the divine was in charge and moved me forward, my soul's journey into now in this mystical moment that my little 10-year-old girl faced me in a really, really sad and looking me directly in my eyes. And I thought, I don't want to see you. Just go away. I don't connect with you. She was there for 3 weeks every day.
Wow.
And I got really angry I really got angry at what time. I said, I don't want to see you, just go. But really, after 3 weeks, something happened. And I realized I needed to connect with her. No conversation happened. It was just my soul really, really tuning in and said, this needs to happen. And the key thing about it is that I didn't know how to do it. I had no idea, how am I going to connect with this? And I discovered that it's the emotions connecting to the memories that makes the healing chain, to make the unveiling. So the spark of who you are or who I was started to shine through. And so I went through a lot of self-healing for several years. And while I was doing that, I got to understand about the human condition. I had no idea but that I would be understanding that and really know more while I'm going through my self-healing. But the wisdom, really, I want to tell everyone, is through your own experiences. That's where the wisdom lies. You don't have to, well, the wisdom of life and understanding things is through your experiences. You know,
Mm.
you can read in a book and you coach someone, but there's a difference. When you coach someone, the energy that comes through in your expression is totally different. This comes from your soul when you know something. So that's what happened. And then I realized that that was my soul's agreement. Didn't know that. But that's why,
Interesting.
yeah, that's the reason I had to heal my wounds first.
Right.
And so what I do now is really my divine call,
Mm.
my,
And you
my
help
divine
people.
mission. Yes, and I'm so devoted to seeing people change because I have I have shifted in such a way that I want to see everyone do the same thing. I really want to because we are a collective consciousness.
Mhm.
We're all and and so when I help myself, I'm helping the collective. And when you help yourself, we're really in service to the one. We're all divine sparks from the one flame. The divine spark is the essence of our soul. And so as a child, we came into this world in a multidimensional way. We saw everything as oneness. We don't remember that because we didn't have the language and we didn't have um, any mental, intellectual understanding. This was just something happening between us. Something is flowing from consciousness. It's flowing through us, and when we cry, it's sharing that we're hungry, but we don't know that we're hungry. The information comes through this body, and so we are in one multidimensionally, and we had a sensitivity that went way beyond the five senses. We were able to feel where our parents are, they're unhappy, or they, a look at us, and we could tell where they are, what's happening. So as we continue to grow up our sensitivity, we start to understand through the feelings and the behaviors of those around us. And what would happen? We would start to survive in a develop personalities, either be a good girl or good person, want to, and all of that is about how can I get love.
Right.
When we become this nice person, this is because we want love and we're trying to squelch peace. We want peace. And many of us either become a tyrant or we withdraw, you know. And what I did was I withdrew
Mm.
and really closed down and felt insecure and didn't have enough confidence in myself. Oh man, and so I would be really sensitive when I go into a group, and even if I disagree with what's happening, I would close my mouth. I didn't want to disagree with I didn't want to share my opinions, and that locks us down, and it stifles our freedom. So I've learned a lot through my own personal experience. My inner teacher comes out.
Mhm.
And so I what I do is to help people, my clients, to unveil and release the wounds because it's the emotions that creates it's the emotions that makes one start to release. If you don't have the emotions to release what it is that you're going through, it still stays stuck. After you unveil all of that, it becomes only a memory, and soon it starts to fade away. It's not as important anymore. And because I have understood that through my own experiences. So
Mhm.
I help people to go back to the root and unveil all the things that are locked down in the body. The body holds everything that happened to us. And unconscious is where we hold things that we don't remember, because that started from the young age. The unconscious is holding all those memories that we don't quite consciously remember.
Mhm.
And it's very important that we continue to purify ourselves. So purification, and to me, is the most rewarding thing that any human being can do, is to remember who you are. And through that journey, I as I said, I had such a devotion to the divine. I had my awakening experience, not because it was given to me. Everything starts from the inside. We have to change from the inside. And so that made me understand and have a lot more compassion for people. So compassion comes from the heart of it.
Mhm. Now I know you've talked to me too about helping people find inner peace. Now, when you met your inner child, you had to go through a period of being healed, correct?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. What it was doing was going back into the memories that I had here,
Mhm.
and it was clearing the emotions. Oh my goodness, for several years, clearing the emotions. And another thing I wanted to share too, we don't remember all our past lives. And in a way, it's good, because we come back in a clean slate, and we are here to learn and to evolve. So if we brought the memories in, we would be stuck in the past. But
Mhm.
one thing I wanted to share with the listeners is that, and through my experience too, a lot of the healing that I went through wasn't just my childhood, but it was remnants of the past lives that I have brought into resolve. And so that the reason that my early child was the way it was is because it was all set up to trigger the emotions
Mm.
that the fragments brought in to clear. So it's every lifetime is an evolution.
Mm.
It's an upgrade, I call it. It's
Right.
an upgrade. And so that is why we really must do our inner work. We really must come to that place where we will find peace, peace beyond all understanding. And that can only we can only get there by continuing unveiling and letting go of the identification of who we've always thought we were.
Mm. It is a process.
It's a really process, and after a while it becomes so much easier, because we have an understanding of what we're going through, why things are coming up. There's a clear understanding. So the wisdom comes as we continue to clear.
Mm.
And yes, and finding the peace within, and knowing that when we react to the outer world because somebody really hurt us, it's because it has touched and unprocessed stuff inside. And we must look in here. If we continue blaming the outer world, we'll never find, we'll never come to that peace. And especially now in the pandemic and things are happening in the world everywhere, you know, I feel a lot of compassion and sorrow for what is happening with some people. But on a higher level, it's in a way, you could look at as a gift. And I don't want people to be open when I say this, because it's a gift, because a lot of the stuff that we're feeling is not because of just the pandemic, is imprints coming up to be released. And so there are always two sides of what's happening in life. There's, you know, there's a human identification world, and then there's a higher frequency. And it's important for us to see the good side. What is it? Why is this happening? And find the value to it, because everything that's happening is going to bring you up to peace, or is going to bring you into despair. And if you're having despair, you got to look inside. It's an inner job.
Absolutely. I say that all the time. It's an inside job. And
Inside.
it's a test. Don't you feel planet Earth is almost like a giant classroom that we come here to study and learn these lessons, and then we have to take the test. When we're confronted with a dilemma or a situation, we get to take the test, and it's what do we choose? Like you said, peace or despair. We get to choose how we handle it.
And when we're going to despair, take a moment. Take a moment and own that that is your feelings. What someone or what is happening out into the world is what's happening out in the world that is triggering something inside. So own it. Know that, okay, I'm feeling horrible. I'm feeling fearful. I'm feeling chaos. Take a moment and look inside. The moment we do that, we're opening a portal inside to really feel and release if we invite ourselves in. But the more we go out and feel, I'm afraid of what's happening, oh my gosh, this is going on, or this person just hurt me. I'm not saying we shouldn't acknowledge that, but when we acknowledge that the hurt is coming from inside, or the fear is coming from inside.
Right. It's all in our perception.
Absolutely. So, so as we unveil and we continue to unveil, our perception begins to change.
Right.
We begin to see the world in a different way. And because it's where we're looking from, that's being reflected out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as a metaphysical person, as we both are, we can literally, by shifting our perception, create different experiences for ourselves than what we first perceive as being unpleasant, right? I mean, it is what it is, but how you relate to something, I mean, some people have been locked down now for going on 2 years and maybe have been enjoying the experience. They've learned to connect on the internet. They're studying something that they've been, or, you know, their life has changed in a different way, but they can make it a positive instead of a negative.
Oh, people have gone through a lot of understanding, having separated themselves. There's a good side to everything, you
Right.
know. There's a good side to everything, and some people realize that what they're feeling inside, they never had a chance to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they keep being distracted with the outer world. Now that you're locked down, you have to face yourself. And what grand moment that is to start to feel and understand who you are more.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. So in that way, it's probably raising the consciousness of everyone on the planet because of that very fact that we've all had to be more introspective and think about what's important to us and learning more about ourselves as we're cut off from our old lives that we used to just freely live.
it is. It is. And what is happening, we're moving from an old paradigm. It is really stated. We're moving from an old paradigm and we're moving into a new way of being. And the thing is, we can't go with any luggage. So whatever was left unprocessed and unresolved is coming to that place of chaos and feeling to break it away. I really would like people to understand that. And so the new paradigm, the more we change, the more we assist that new paradigm to open up to all of us, to find a new earth, to find that peace within, to live from that peace within. What a glorious time when we can feel more harmony in the outer world. And we're all sensitive. We can feel vibrations. And we don't have to go have an experience out there. We can sit in our stillness and feel what's going on out there, out in the world. So I think we're moving into a great time, but most importantly, we must go and do the inner work.
Now, do you recommend people meditating daily, reading books
You
on
know,
go within?
there are different ways of meditating too.
Right.
And, it is also stated that meditation is a time of silence that will bring things up for you. So it's a really great time for self introspection.
Hmm.
Be quiet and breathe into your body. What a beautiful time to be with yourself, to have a relationship with yourself that you normally wouldn't have if you listen to something or relating to someone. This is a quiet moment to be in that meditation. Or find also find some books that can help you into a spiritual way of personal development, of and also inquire within you. Who am I? What is going on with me? Why am I always this way? Or something like that. And the more you ask inside, the more you will get an answer. Every question has an answer inside.
That's right. Yeah, I always say there's always a solution too. If you're facing a situation that looks problematic, um, if you go with it, go inside and connect.
Yeah, there's always a spiritual solution in every unpleasant situation.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes we don't like to hear a particular solution the way it's being presented, but if we use our intuition, our spiritual sense, and our inner guidance, like you're talking about, we will be directed to the right solution.
Yeah, and if we hear something that we thought doesn't make sense to me, stop and ponder on it.
Right.
Be open. Be open to say, does that make sense to me? And you'll get the feeling inside of you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Not from your ego self, but from in here.
Hmm.
Because the ego tends to have a quick judgment of anything that it doesn't understand.
Yes. Yes. And we're such a left brain culture. I mean, I like to teach people how to activate the right side of their brain where all the, intuition and spiritual sense is. But most people are just using five senses to solve problems. But there's so much more to us. Like you touched on how we are multidimensional beings and we do have access to information through our higher selves that can guide us and help us and solve our problems.
Absolutely. And the more we unveil, the more we let go those identification, trust me, your intuition expands.
Right.
And I commonly say that the child is a wisdom keeper, little child. And why do I say that? Because we commonly hear that they're wounded children. The wounded child, the wounded expression is what happened, is what veils over the wisdom keeper, that innocence. And so we're acting out the pain that we're carrying, our beliefs, and then we identify with that as a wounded child. Because on my website, I said open the portal, for the wounded child, open the portal. And I'm now saying that that's the identification that humanity has. I'm wounded, you're wounded, but you're really not wounded. Yeah, you have been wounded by situations that have happened, but you are not the wounded child. For, we could say, I am my house, but your house is not who you are. So underneath all of that is the innocence, the wisdom keeper. Why did I go back to saying a wisdom keeper? Your multidimensional self, where you had the sensibility of knowing what's going on, telepathy, and all of that. And that child is the essence of the soul that carries a lot of wisdom.
Absolutely. And there's never been a better time to find that authentic self that you're talking about. And yeah, and I really hope people will get in touch with you. Like I said, you give a free 20-minute complimentary talk.
Yeah, conversation. And even one client told me once, when she came in, always say, take my 20 minutes if you have an interest in working with me. And she told me a year later, she said, when you gave me that 20 minutes, I started going through a healing.
I believe it.
Yeah, I was really, yes.
Oh yeah. When people connect with someone like you that has done the work and reached that level of consciousness where you understand there are only solutions, if you can go within to tap into it, are very valuable and vitally needed right now in these times.
Very much so.
There's so many people walking around, I'm sure, going, oh, what am I going to do? Who can I talk to? And there are people like you out there that are accessible. And I think people
reach out. It costs you nothing more than your desire to want to know more.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Radavie. That was very, very interesting. It was so interesting to hear your story again. And you're doing really good work on the planet. And I'll hope to see you again soon, because we do connect every now and then. And I will be happy to post this on my YouTube channel. So to everyone out there, go to our website, radavie.net. I'll post that underneath and you can check that out. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Rebecca, for having me again and sharing with you and connecting and being in your presence.
You're welcome.